we made it to part 2 of the Thomas Friends 75 years of perspective. As always, I will explain. So, like the first one having some of a long intro. Sure. But let's begin. Number 11, Colin. Colin can be described as a one-off, like the other characters mentioned. Although, yeah, Colin was a crane who wanted to get the party but couldn't. But he decided to bring the party to him, but it didn't work out well. Well, mainly because his base is mounted. In the end, though, Colin decided and brought the party to him, which was a good protagonist. Anyways, he only appeared in one episode, but the party surprise. We got another set of merchandise from Railway for 2 years. It's just an odd thing to have Colin. Yeah. He was just there for a purpose. Season 12 characters are not made for the characters that will long lasting. Number 12, the Diesel or Class 40. The Diesel's first appearing episode Bowled Out, which was based on a story Bowled Out, but simply induct Polar Train. The Diesel was be the engine who thinks that the other engines are beneath him. Makes sense. Most Diesels at the time thought that, like Daisy and Diesel. However, one thing that did happen commonly to this guy is honestly his embarrassment and his failure. He blew a hop hat into engines, and that's what happened. It wears him out, but also stops him in his tracks. Afterwards, he never really made appearance afterwards outside some background shots. Shots in the episodes. Toward many appearances. It's an odd thing, honestly. Let's see. 13. Dennis. Dennis was best described as the laziest character in Thomas. Yes, not wanting to do work at all. That makes sense. We've always had that guy who doesn't want to do work. But Dennis also is also relatable too. Everyone can be lazy at one point or another. Having a character who doesn't want to do work is super relatable to anyone, and it can also show what great characters made from this stuff. The only appearing episode is Thomas's Day Off, and it was in no time. Tom's best episode, as it did have much and wasn't used to effect. And that was it. It's for the Great Discovery, which is odd that he made an appearance as well. Which is odd to say the least. However, he does have a brother in the series, Norman, who has appeared in the series since season 15. Ironically enough, we've never seen him or Dennis on screen at the same time. It's an odd quirk that they've shown. In fact, Dennis hasn't appeared much. Honestly, not the same model, so it's honestly really weird why they're both related. But still, it's an odd piece of history. Number 14, Derek. Although many characters from early episodes were made to fact, Derek was honestly underutilized, which was a shame. He appeared in episode Double Teething Troubles, where a new Diesel was coming over to the quarry and Bill and Ben are both mistreat him due to his constant engine failures, which is relatable since we've all had that guy who keeps on getting sick and thing. So, it was honestly a fun character to watch. The only other time he got used was in a music video cameo in The Great Discovery or Calling Out Engines. I can't remember which one it is, but it was in one of those movies. Comment down below if you know which one it is. Okay? Unfortunately, Derek didn't really get much roles outside the teen shows. Merchandise of him was very prominent, though. It's just odd. One of the characters are so common in Thomas that I wonder why we ever get to see them. Number 15, Duke. I've been waiting to talk about Duke for a while now, actually. I'm glad to talk about him as the 15th engine. Duke is honestly one of the most interesting retired Thomas characters, as he was perfectly fine. Duke first appeared in episodes Grandpuff, Sleeping Beauty, You Can't Win, and Bulldog. Not in that order, but he appeared in those episodes as main characters and main foil. Sometimes. especially to Sir Handel and Peter Sam or Stuart Falcon as I call it. Sir Handel himself was close to being here if it was made way too early because he's been reappeared a lot. So I don't think it'll work. One thing that was odd about Duke though is after those 4 episodes, he was retired basically as a main character. We never got to see him do much outside silent cameos, which is sad. Characters like Skarloey and Sir Handel and Peter Sam and Duncan we see all the time, but Duke is not one of those characters, and it's a shame. It's one of the classic characters, and many people in fans have called Duke their favorite because of his wise nature. I have not, but that's just me. His last appearance was in footage cameo, and if you squint really hard, there he is. Such a shame. Bye-bye, Duke. But you'll always be remembered as one of the characters that many fans consider favorite. Number 16, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is possibly one of the grumpiest characters on Thomas and Friends ever. Alongside Cranky, George, and Diesel. However, she's not always grumpy. It's just, she was first introduced in Elizabeth, the vintage quarry wagon, or was it Thomas in the old quarry wagon truck, or even old lorry? It was vintage lorry. It made sense that Thomas basically breaks down, and basically afterwards Tom Hat finds, and Tom Hat goes, "Oh, wait, so you finally learned to drive yet?" And this is one of the oddest things. I'm gonna punish her, and that's kind of an odd relationship that he has. Like, whenever anyone go like to say that, he would immediately go, "Well, that's just not right by Tom Hat." But Elizabeth doesn't get that from Tom Hat. She also gets a good laugh from Tom Hat. Makes sense. It's an odd relationship. She appeared in more episodes in season 6 and 7, especially in episodes like So Hasty Puddings in season 7. Afterwards, she kind of dropped from the scenes. Although it wasn't odd to see why. She had a pretty good personality, and she was one of the Alcohol One's favorite characters to be voiced, or at least that I can tell, since he had such fun voicing the character. It just was such a different voice. So it's on. See, she's great, and I think it's honestly something we really miss. Number 17, Fergus. Another character that was introduced around the same time as Elizabeth. Fergus was honestly more forgotten characters. The main reason why is actually due to news. Fergus appeared in 3 episodes in season 7. Salty, Stormy Tail, Thomas and Fergus, or Fergus Face the Rules, and Bailbrand Fergus. The reason why he was no longer used after those 3 episodes is actually something that's very surprising. During production of the last episode, of the late episode I mentioned, Fergus's model actually broke when the his turntable couldn't move anymore, and that's why they couldn't use him. His personality was basically, he wanted things to be done right, which was a good thing since we need more characters to be able to do that right. It seems odd that Fergus was never used afterwards. They could have fixed his model or even brought him some CGI, but I guess they couldn't. Although, I guess fixing his model would be pretty easy anyways. He looks like the Andrew you could fix up. He also looks, which is not set since it was only used, I think, in season 7, or I'm not sure yet, but I have not seen it here much in the series. So, honestly, it was probably just an idea. The Fentworks was done when Fergus was basically done. So, he's one of the quickest retired characters only lasting a season. At least he's not a one-off. Number 18, Flora. Flora's first appearing here in season 12, and again, like Colin, was a one-off character. Why again do we need more one-off characters? If they're not going to be seen further, don't use them. Or use them more, actually. He was used as a player in Tran Trouble. It was best described as Flora's only appearance, and wasn't really her episode to shine. Thomas and Toby were more the main characters. And even then, she was rarely seen with Toby until the end. In toy merchandising, Flora again only got one model, but it's odd to say the least why we read her. As you can see these pictures, and from Chancellor, we're not really missing much, as she didn't really appear much. And it was just not bad. Number 19, Fearless Freddy, or Freddy. Well, Flora was definitely a character that we didn't need and was unnecessary. Freddy was a character that I really wanted, and he is great to see. Freddy first appeared in the season 10 episode Fearless Freddy, and probably a name, and basically his old friends and handles that returned. Scarlet Mania's challenged him to a race, but since Freddy's old, he couldn't beat him. However, he knew his shortcuts. After the third race something happened where basically I think it was Scarlet who derailed. And Freddy hoisted him back up. He then confessed his truth, which is a good thing. The episode is very fond remembered by me, and is one of my favorite episodes of season 10. Later on, Freddy will make more appearances in episodes like the Party Surprise, March Behind Your Buffers, others, Darling, and Please Don't Make Any Jokes. That's actually just the episode's title. It was music for Bell. And of course, Mad Hills. And Monty Marvel. Probably one of the best episodes of season 12. Afterwards, Freddy was retired, basically, as he didn't appear after season 12, and it's a shame. He's one of my favorite characters from the new era, as he's fun to watch. You don't really see anything. You don't really see a character like him. Not only was he associated to the TV series, but also, he was also really fun to watch, and I would totally say that Freddy definitely because of he brought back. But it's still nice to see Freddy. Probably not the best character ever, but I would not be the first to say that he should be brought back anytime soon. Number 20, George. George, again, is like one of the early characters from Thomas Friends who was then underutilized. But unlike characters like Derek or Caroline, George was immediately defined by his personality. A grumpy steamroller who hated the steam engines and whales, saying that he should tear it up. His personality, though, was a bit of a cry, as he was grumpy all the time and was totally into engines. First appearing in episode Steamroller, and then in Lady Hat's Birthday Party, and then by George, his final appearance, and the only time he was the main character. The latter, it was more so Handel being the main character than George. He was described as the grumpiest roller that you ever meet, and that's no joke. He was a menace to the engines and runners. Afterwards, he was rarely used. However, he is the Steamroller Buster was used as he was. So guessing George beats Buster in that regard. Still, it's nice. And that wraps up the Thomas and Friends look at the second set of characters in this part of the series. Thanks for watching.